This is Dr. Ben Weitz with the Rational Wellness Podcast, bringing you the cutting edge information on health and nutrition from the latest scientific research and by interviewing the top experts in the field. Please subscribe to the Rational Wellness Podcast on iTunes and YouTube, and sign up for my free ebook on my website by going to drweitz.com. Let's get started on your road to better health. Hello, Rational Wellness Podcasters. Thank you so much for joining me again today. And for those of you who enjoy the Rational Wellness Podcast, please go to iTunes and give us a ratings and review. So our topic for today is water and what is the best way to get hydrated. It's often stated that Americans do not drink enough water, and many doctors believe that as many as 75% of Americans are underhydrated. I personally test all my patients with bioimpedance analysis for their body composition, and we find very few who are optimally hydrated. I often encourage my patients to drink more water, and so do many functional medicine doctors, nutritionists, and health coaches. It's typically recommended that patients drink 8 to 12 glasses of water per day, or at least half of their body weight in ounces of water. However, new research has discovered that water, which has been thought to exist in one of three states, liquid, gas, or solid, actually exists in a fourth, gel-like state that has the potential to hydrate the body more effectively and efficiently than just plain water. This new state of structured water is also more organized, making it more effective for healing at the cellular level. Dr. Dana Cohen is our special guest today, and she's a nationally renowned internal and integrative medicine specialist based in New York City. She trained under the late Dr. Robert Atkins and also under Donald Ronald Hoffman, two of the pioneers of functional medicine. Dr. Cohen says that new research shows that hydration may not be as simple as drinking more water. It's the premise of her new book, Quench, Beat Fatigue, Drop Weight, and Heal Your Body Through the New Science of Optimum Hydration. And in fact, she says, drinking too much water can actually cause harm to your body by flushing out vital nutrients and electrolytes from your cells. Dr. Cohen, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
So how dangerous is it to be underhydrated, and what concerns can arise from not being properly hydrated?
Okay, so I want to clarify first that we're not talking about overt dehydration where you're in the hospital needing IV fluids and you have heat stroke, and those can be life-threatening. We're talking about this sort of subclinical low-grade dehydration, which we give evidence that shows basic things, fatigue, brain fog, dry skin, constipation, but then even more important things, it puts you at risk for certain cancers like bladder cancer or colon cancer, also can put you at risk for type 2 diabetes and even Alzheimer's disease. So it is, I think, a very real problem.
How do you know if you're underhydrated?
So, okay, good question. The first thing people think about is thirst. The truth is, thirst is not a great measure because we've learned to override our thirst or ignore our thirst. So some ways that you can know, once again, fatigue. I really believe that fatigue is your first sign of dehydration. And instead of maybe going for some coffee or sugar in the afternoon, think about hydrating better when you get that slump. So fatigue, brain fog, other things that you can think about. So, we're meant to urinate every 2 or 3 hours. And if you're not doing that, you may be dehydrated. A good rule of thumb, an at-home test that you can do is look at the color of your urine. You want it to be pale yellow. If it's bright, dark orange or darker, you're dehydrated, with one caveat, as us as integrative practitioners know, if you're taking B vitamins, that rule doesn't hold because it turns your urine bright yellow. So
Yeah, my urine is very dark. I take so many supplements, but
Yeah. So that's not the best thing for you to do. Another good at-home thing is you could pinch the top of your hand, the skin on the top of your hand. If it stays up there, if it tense up for longer than a millisecond, you're dehydrated, or you can be dehydrated. So that's a little at-home test you can do as well.
so what's the best way to get properly hydrated?
Great question.
Well, we kind of teased that in the intro.
So what we talk about in the well, let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the new discovery that you sort of alluded to earlier. We know that water exists as liquid, ice, and vapor. Now we know that there is another phase of water, and this phase of water we call gel water or structured water in the book. Is it's different. It has different properties than regular bulk water, and what we've discovered is that this is the type of water that's in our cells. It also happens to be the type of water that's in plants. And so by eating your water, by having more plants and vegetables and that kind of thing, it's a much more effective way at getting better hydrated. So so that's what we tell you. There's the idea of, a lot of it is instinctual, but now we have real science to back up why we should have a smoothie every day and why we should eat our greens in concentrated forms and eat more hydrating foods.
Are there products on the market now, structured water? And if they're not, I'm sure there will be.
They do exist. There are machines that can structure your water. We don't talk. I don't know any of them. I don't. What's the word? Recommend any of them, because I haven't done the research on them. I don't know. I don't know about them. The book is for the masses. This is for every person on how you can get this water by eating better, eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, eating your water, and following some simple rules. We lay out a very easy 5-day plan in the book where you just follow them. So I'll give you a couple right now. A first rule is you want to wake up and front load your water. So 16 ounces of a big glass of water with a little bit of sea salt to get some good electrolytes in there, and a squeeze of lemon. Start your day that way. That's one rule. Another rule I can give you is you want to drink 8 ounces before every meal. So that's a way of getting water in right before your meal. And there's some research behind that it also can help lose a few pounds if you just do that and do nothing else.
Now, I like to have some of my clients do that, but I know a number of people in the nutrition world who feel that drinking water prior to your meal is going to dilute your enzymes.
Yeah, I've had no problems with it.
Yeah.
And I see patients. I've been researching this book for 3.5 years. I've been giving the program to patients, and in fact, their digestion is improving. They do lose a little bit of weight. Their brain fog goes away. Their fatigue. If you're hydrating better. So
now, does it matter if the water is cold or room water? Does it matter if it's carbonated?
It's a good question. I don't know. I really don't know. I know in Chinese medicine, there's something to, depending on what type of, whether you're damp or a hot person, I don't know there's something to that. I'm not a Chinese medicine practitioner, so I don't know. I definitely think there's something to it, but I honestly don't know. As far as carbonation, I don't have a problem with carbonation. I actually drink a lot of Pellegrino, a natural carbonated spring water. So, and I think the jury is out on that one. I don't think there's evidence either way.
Yeah, I have an acupuncturist in my office, and we're constantly having a battle. I'll put ice on the patient, and she'll say, "No, don't put ice on. We have to use heat."
I know. I think the truth is, whatever gets you to drink better, I think is important. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I was reading your book, Quench, this morning while walking on the treadmill and drinking some water.
Love it. Excellent.
You talked about, I want to ask a couple of questions that are a little bit off track, and then we'll get back to the foods. You talked about how some foods like pizza have the wrong kind of salt that's dehydrating, while natural salt is hydrating. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So like the store-bought table salt. I don't think I should mention any names, but the one with the girl with the umbrella on it and the galoshes. I mean, it's sodium. It's just sodium. There's no natural, there's no minerals, there's no other minerals in there.
Now, there is iodine in it. Sodium
If you're getting
iodine.
iodized salt, yes, yeah. If it's iodized, you can get sea salt iodized as well, and that's a whole conversation in itself. And I do think almost everybody's deficient in iodine as well. Unfortunately, we don't have great ways of measuring that. But yes, the iodine is a separate issue. But the table salt is just sodium. Real salt has an abundance of other minerals and electrolytes that we need. That is, and there's a lot of research behind it too that's been shown. It's not going to affect your blood pressure in the way that we always thought salt was such a bad thing for us. So that's the difference.
Yeah. So in fact, you say that having sea salt and natural forms of salt like Himalayan pink salt actually helps with blood pressure.
Well, I think there's something to that. I'm not sure if it actually helps with blood pressure, but I don't think it harms.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and there may be a select few that have very salt sensitive hypertension that they do need to worry about it. So it's hard for me to say. I still want people to be careful who have high blood pressure, and even using real salt, you just need to monitor and look at it. But yeah. I don't think it's the foe that we've made it to be at all.
Yeah, no, I read that book by James Nicolatino about salt, and it was really sort of a shock that everything we thought about salt, kind of like everything we thought about saturated fat, isn't quite true.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
One more thing that I was reading about in your book was you talk about eating seasonally, eating fruits and vegetables that are in season. And you also mention that our microbiome, which is the bacteria in our colon, actually changes according to the season. And I thought that was really fascinating. And I don't think that's information that people commonly talk about.
Yeah, we touch upon it lightly in the book. And we've looked at the research. I think his name is Douillard. John Douillard, I think his name is. There's some very interesting research that how the microbiome does change seasonally, and that's one of the reasons why we should eat what's available to us. I have a feeling that that's probably the key of why eating seasonally is really good and important for us. So there's some research to back that up as well.
Yeah, interesting. So can you tell us about why it's so important to eat certain fruits and vegetables and seeds that can help to hydrate us?
Sure. So I would love to, I picked out 4 things today to specifically talk about. So they're a little bit unusual, but they're sort of fun to talk about.
By the way, these are examples, right? And most... my understanding from reading your book is most fruits and vegetables and also nuts and seeds in general are very hydrating.
Exactly. And we lay out many, many examples in the book. We have over 50 recipes. I love to just bring up the example of even iceberg lettuce. Iceberg lettuce, we always thought has no nutritional value. As it turns out, it's probably one of the most hydrating vegetables you can eat because it's just loaded with that structured water, and that alone makes it worth its weight in gold. So iceberg lettuce, there's a reason for it. So let's talk about chia seeds first.
Okay.
Chia seeds.
And by the way, I wouldn't normally think of dried seeds as being moisturizing.
Yes. So if you've ever seen or made a recipe for chia pudding, you know that when you add liquid to chia, it forms that a gel. It makes a very gelatinous or mucilaginous surrounding the seed. So that is that gel water. It's going to hold onto and absorb water better than regular water. And there's actually this Mexican tribe of people, the Tarahumari tribe, who anthropologically would run 50-mile marathons on water and chia seeds. So chia they are really the star of the show. They are a superfood. They're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. They're really good for endurance. They're great for blood sugar, and I just think I love to throw them in my smoothies, make chia pudding, throw them on your salads. They're a very hydrating food.
Okay.
Second one I want to talk about, another sort of fun and unusual one.
Now, do you just eat the chia seeds raw, or do you grind them up first?
I love to grind them because you're creating more surface area when you grind them. I'll do both, but I think grinding them, you're probably getting more gel water because you're creating more surface area. So I think ground chia seeds are a better way to do it. In fact, we tell a story in the book from my co-author. She is an anthropologist. Her mother was in a nursing home with Alzheimer's, and she was suffering from dehydration, like literally over dehydration. And her mother would never ask for more water, or, she was very proper. And she decided to tell the nurses to put some chia in her water every morning. And that cured the problem. She never had another UTI after that, urinary tract infection. So chia seeds are really important and great for us, and inexpensive. Anybody can find them everywhere. It's a great thing to do and to start putting in your water. So let's talk about the second one. Speaking of seasonal fruits and vegetables, I want to talk about lychee fruit. Lychee. Have you ever had a lychee? Do you know what it is?
Not really. I was at some wedding that had like every exotic fruit known to mankind, and I'm sure I ate it, but I don't remember which one it was.
I think lychee, you're going to start to hear about lychees. Like, I think it's going to be the next sort of
superfruit.
Yeah. They are delicious. They're from Southeast Asia. In fact, I love anthropological information. These ancient Chinese princesses used to have their servants get them lychee fruit to keep their skin youthful. So lychee is great for skin, youthful skin. It's a very powerful antioxidant. It helps with blood sugar. It helps protect against UV radiation, ultraviolet radiation from sun damage, that kind of thing. Couple problems with lychee is and by the way, they taste incredible. They're delicious. I'll often just sort of throw them in water. And it's a tiny little fruit. I actually have some here. I'm going to show you. Can you see that?
Okay.
So they look like little eyeballs. These are seeded. There's a pit in the middle. And so when you pop open a lychee, you could see the gel just sort of coming out, very, very gel-like. The one problem is they're seasonal, so they're hard to get. Only a very short period of season you can get them, and they're high in sugar. So what I'll often do is recommend a supplement, because I do recommend a lot of supplements. There's a supplement called oligonol, where there's over 30 human clinical trials. It's made from lychee fruit. I'll pop open the capsules in the winter and throw it in my smoothie, 2 capsules a day. And that supplement has been shown to help with decreased belly fat, decreased brown spots from skin aging. Really great supplement made from lychee. And other than that, 1 or 2 lychee in a glass of water will help structure that water a little bit better than without it. The third thing I want to talk about is, and you may have played a little bit more with this, is prickly pear, which is a cactus fruit. I do have one here. I love prickly pear. Basically what I'll do is I'll cut off both ends, peel it off. It's bright red. This is water infused with prickly pear. Can you see how red it is?
Okay, yep.
Also really delicious, but it does have seeds in it, so you have to put it through a strainer before you do anything with it. Prickly pear is great for blood sugar, also helps with cholesterol. What else is it good for? Known as a hangover remedy. So if you've imbibed too much, have some prickly pear. Prickly pear and lime is a really wonderful water infuser. There's jams and jellies you can make with that, but maybe a little bit too much sugar also. And then last I want to talk about is aloe. All these cactus fruits. Aloe, I grew up in South Florida, originally from Long Island, but we moved to South Florida when I was little, and we always had aloe plants outside. So everybody knows if you get a burn, you go outside, cut an aloe leaf, and put it on top of your burn. It really helps your skin. But taken internally, aloe can help with digestion. It can help with constipation, also maybe help with blood sugar. So basically just open an aloe leaf, take that gel inside of it, throw it in your smoothie or just eat it. There's aloe juice you can buy now. Great for all of those things, for digestion, heartburn, constipation. So a couple of foods, sort of fun and unusual, easy, play around with them, and they're really delicious.
Sounds good. Yeah, we use aloe a lot for all sorts of issues. Seems to be really good for the skin, and it's good for the gut as well. So we use we use some supplements that have aloe as one of the ingredients.
Yeah, the one thing I'd be a little careful about is too much. Even natural aloe can lead to diarrhea. So you just got to find your perfect sort of dose.
Yep. Great. How can listeners or viewers get a hold of you and get a hold of your book? I'm assuming it's available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and
everywhere books are sold. My website is www.drdanacohen.com. And my co-author's website, there's a lot of information. It's the hydrationfoundation.org. Tons of information about water and all the new research that's coming out with new water. And by the way, water is way more complicated than I ever thought before I imbibed on this journey. So,
yes,
and every day there's something new coming out about it. So,
yeah. Good. And I'm assuming you still see patients in your office and remote. Do you do consultations?
I don't see people remotely unless they have to see me one time in person, because I still am that old-timey doctor. I like to put my hands on patients.
Okay, great.
So, but I do see people in New York City. My office is called Complete Wellness, nyc.com.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ben.